Hey everyone, and welcome to my craft room. My name's Julianne Riches and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in southern Tasmania. Just bear with me for a second. I'm going to make sure my iPad is catching up with myself, if that makes it all sense. Oh, there you go. There's volume there if you do want to hear my voice. I'm sure you can. As I say, welcome to my craft room. Today I'm going to show you how to assemble our February bonus customer card kit. As my customers will know, every month I have a different card kit that if they've placed an order with me during the month, they get it as a little thank you bonus. And when I actually design these cards, I design it in mind the fact that not everybody has the same stamp sets, not everyone has the same stash at home, so I design it so that you can just pop it together with glue, use your favourite sentiment, whichever sentiment you've got at home that you like, and everyone ends up with hopefully a nice card. So they're usually fun folds, and they're usually very much driven by die cuts and paper, and this month's is no exception. Okay, so it's actually a centre easel card, which I say they're usually fun folds of some sort. Centre easel card leans very heavily on the Hydrangea Hills collection, which I'm slightly in love with at the moment, and concentrates on the beautiful paper and this beautiful die cut, which is the central sort of image of the whole thing. Excuse me, I've got my band-aid wet from washing my hands, so I hope I don't get anything on my cards. Anyway, so this is the card you will make in the end, give or take a few your own personal variations, and your kit will look very similar to this. So this is all the bits and pieces that I've cut. Now I have got, and if I keep my hands out of the way long enough, I have got the measurements for the card down here in the bottom corner. If you can actually focus in on that, you might not be able to, but I will pop them in the comments later on. So once you've, if you're not a customer or once you've finished your card kit, you can actually make another card yourself from scratch. Okay, so lots of bits and pieces, but we'll start with the card base. Now the card base is a gorgeous grape piece of cardstock, and it's measured at sort of 4 1/8 by 5 3/4. So it's like half a card. It's like half a card base, which is a good thing about these cards. You sort of save a little bit of cardstock there. The next layer is Highland heather, and it's 1/8 of an inch smaller. So it's basically 4 inches by 5 5/8. And so that is your card base fundamentally for this particular card. So I might actually pop that together now so I don't lose my bits and bobs. You guys know what I'm like. Half the time I will end up losing something and have to recut it, which isn't good. Okay, so just a bit of glue on the back of the Highland heather and straight onto the gorgeous grape. Just like that. Then also in your little kit, in your customer kit, you'll have 2 little thin pieces of the designer series paper. So just thin, they're 1 inch wide and about 3 7/8 high. And they're going to go just on the very edges of your card base there. So one on one side and one on the other. If you were making this yourself and you had cardstock to spare, you could just do a whole length of designer series paper, but most of it's going to be hidden behind your easel, the central easel. So I think probably I'm saving my glorious paper by using just these little inch wide strips. So thanks everyone who's joining. I think I just saw Jan pop on. Hi Jan, happy birthday. 21 today. Yes. I'm glad you got my card. And yeah, I can see lots of names jumping on. Hi Hannah and Robin and Annette and Sue. Hey Sue, I hope you're recovering okay. Thanks for popping on. Okay, so that's so that truly is the card base for this card. So you've got 2 pieces of designer series paper on the sides and this big gap in the middle, which we're going to be filling up very shortly. so we've got another piece of the Highland heather, which is 8 inches long and 3 3/8 wide, and I've scored it at 4 inches and 6 inches, so there, like that. And that's going to sit in the centre of there like that, and that is sort of like the base of our easel. If you can imagine that like that, our easel, the front facing part of our easel will sit up like that, so it sits up nice when it's being displayed, and then it folds itself flat like that when you're popping it in the envelope or popping it away. Okay, so that's that part there. So we might as well pop that on first. Don't think there's any reason why I shouldn't. So just pop some glue on the back of the 4-inch, the longer side, the longer edge. No, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, you'll see what I mean. And you just basically glue that onto into the middle of those two pieces of designer series paper. I'm just going to line it up top and bottom and side by side. Okay, so there we are. So that's our central easel ready to go. And just while we're at it, I might pop, I've got a little piece of white, Whisper White or basic white designer series paper, cardstock here, and that is, what's that one? 3 1/4 by 3 7/8. And I'm just going to pop that on the inside. So this is where you would, if you were giving this card away, this is where you would actually write your message on this little white piece in the inside. Something like that. There we are. Okay, so I think I can pop that, at the moment, I can pop that part of our card to the side, and we can concentrate on the fun bit, which is the easel, the front facing part of the easel. So here I have another piece of Highland heather, lots of Highland heather being used this week, and that is 3 7/8 square. As I say, don't worry about the, no sorry, that's 4 inches square, and this is another piece of the beautiful designer series paper that is 3 7/8 square. So I'm going to pop that straight onto our easel. Just like that. And I'm going to keep the lines horizontal. I think that's really quite effective with the lines like that. They're sort of going sort of like across like that rather than this way. But anyway, I'm going to keep it that way. It's up to you, personal preference. It's your kit. You can do what you like. Then what I've got is a little square frame, and I'll just explain to you for your own purposes how I made that. I have here my stitched shape framelets, but any square would do, and I've popped the large square and the next size down square through my die cutting machine, basically like that. So I popped it through like that, well, even, and then basically you get this frame cut out of the middle of those, between those two dies. So that's a nice, quick and easy way to make a frame. You could just basically cut a square and then cut another square out from in between if you wanted to, but I think the 2 dies is a nice, simple, accurate way of doing it. So that little frame is just going to go pop straight onto our easel. So just a little bit of glue around the edge and line it up. And the good thing with the lines on this designer series paper is you can line up your easel so that it's perfectly straight. So the size of this easel will basically it basically covers the whole square, or it takes up most of the square. There we go. So that's our little frame. Okay, so last thing, or several last things we do. This is the, as I mentioned, the main Hydrangea image from or die cut from the set. We have this sort of base hydrangea, which is just the blank silhouette. And I suppose if you were using the stamp set, which I have here, I'll just show you. It's a beautiful stamp set. Yeah, the stamp set, this is the stamp that you would be cutting out with that die. And then you can use the infill stamps to colour it in if you want, or you can use blends or watercolours or whatever you're your colouring medium of choice is. But yes, but rather than actually stamping it, I'm just using the silhouette there. And I've also die cut the little leaf detail that's in the die kit as well. So that basically just gets glued on top of the silhouette, and it just gives it a little bit of 3D action, a little bit of interest there. Just gives you the veins of your leaves quite easily. And the trick of this one is this little hydrangea head that I've cut out. Now, this is just straight from this particular piece of bristle one here that actually gives a little bit of cutting. It cuts out the blooms at the same time. I don't know if you can see that. I'll bring it closer. It sort of cuts blooms at the same time as cutting out the outline shape. So that's basically what you use. And then you get this little sort of 3D, and I'm just making sure I'm in the right spot, this little 3D flower head here with all the little flowerets inside, which is really, really cute. And because you've done it on the designer series paper, it's, you know, it's already coloured for you, and it's really nice. So I quite like that. So I'm going to use that on this little outline one. You just line it up. There is a right way to line it up, so just rotate it a little bit until you find where it all matches up. So that's it there. So that's basically going to sit on the front of our card like that. So I'm just going to pop some glue on the back, just lightly all around. And then I did have it lined up properly. Let's see if I can do it again. Yeah, where is it? That way? No. Just going to rotate it until I see the bits matching up. That's it there, I think. Don't suppose it would matter too much if you didn't match them up perfectly, but ouch. I'm a little bit OCD with that, aren't I? We all know that. Just pop those together and just give it gently. So what you need to do as well is just to give the little blooms, the little florets, I suppose you'd call them, some 3D, just by curling them up slightly with your fingernail. It's probably easier to do this before you actually glue it to your silhouette, but just so that it looks like sort of, it gives it that bit of oomph rather than just lying flat. Then I'm going to bring in our little veins, just tiny bits of glue on the back of that. No need to go crazy. And then pop that on the leaves. So as I say, all these pieces will be in your kit. All you need to do is pop them together with your glue. Okay, so that's it there. So isn't that sweet? I think that is probably one of the prettiest things out of the mini catalogue this for this half year, for the January-June. I think that's really, really sweet. Okay, so final part of this is we're going to pop our hydrangea with some glue on its back onto our frame. So just, it's up to you of course, but I'm popping it just there. So it sort of comes in from the bottom right hand corner. There we are. And I might as well finish this off while we're here. I've got a bow. You should have a bow or at least some ribbon in your set, and this is from the gorgeous grape sheer ribbon that comes with the collection as well. It's just, I love that colour. I was always a purple girl when I was growing up. I sort of grew out of it as I grew older, but I still have a soft spot for the colour purple. Okay, so let's pop it on with a glue dot. Just on there. There we are. And just to finish it off, just the piece de resistance is one of these pastel pearls which come with the suite as well, and you'll have this in your kit. And I'm going to use the darker ones, these gorgeous grape ones here. And I'm just going to pop the one on there just like that, just in there in the frame with our little flower. So that's the front facing part of our easel pretty much done and dusted there. I think that's really, really lovely. So we'll bring back our card base. All you want to do is add glue to this, the front facing part of our easel base, just glue there. And then bring in our, sort of fold it flat, bring in our easel that we've just decorated, line it up with the card so that it is even top, bottom and sides. So you're showing the same amount of cardstock either side, and that it's even with the top and the bottom of the card as well. And there you are. So it's just glued, as you can see from the back, it's just glued to that bottom quarter of the easel and sits up like that. So that fundamentally is our easel card. You can see like that, that's basically it sits. It's a fairly standard easel design. But now we need to give it a little foot so it won't, so it'll sort of sit up nicely when it's on display. And generally what you do is for your feet of easel cards, you'll use your a little sentiment box, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. This is a sweet little stitched sentiment box that's also with the die set, and there's also with it cute little single blooms. They come in one big long die, so you don't have to cut them out individually. I think there's about 8. Am I right? 8 or 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. So there's 9 little flowers there just in the single die. So just one sweep through your die cutting machine and you've got 8 little flowers there. I think what they're actually meant to do is you can sort of augment your hydrangea with them, sort of stick them all over the front just to give it a little bit more flower effect. But I'm going to use them to decorate the base of our easel. So I'm going to, you'll have a blank sentiment box, so if you don't have the die set, you can use whatever sentiment you would like that fits that little die. I'm going to use the same one I used in the example, which is the I appreciate all the little things that you do, which is from the stamp set. I'm going to do it in Gorgeous Grape, just to keep the purple theme happening. In the middle there. There we go. Then grab some dimensionals, foam squares or whatever. They keep sticking to each other. Oh, I've lost the edge of that one. Just grab a couple of dimensionals, pop them on the back, and this is what gives your little foot the height it needs to stop your card from falling forward, just with the dimensionals there. Then you have to decide how high you want your card to sit when it's on display. So obviously if you put your foot way back, I'm hoping you can see this, if you put the foot way back there, it's going to make your card sit really high. If you bring it down here, your card will sit a lot lower. So I wasn't really happy with the one I did. I think I left that too low, so I'm going to put this one back a bit further so that it catches the card at a bit of a higher angle. So I'm going to pop it probably back there, I think. So just on its little dimensionals, pop it roughly where you want, as straight as you can, and then that will catch, you see there, that's caught my card, so it's sitting really nice and high when it's on display, whereas this one sits a lot lower. I don't know if you can see that from the angle I've got there. So this one's quite high up there, and that one's a bit further down. You can see that there. Anyway, it's up to you, whatever you decide you like. You can have whatever angle you like. Then I'm going to bring in my little flowers just to decorate this blank sort of space we've got here. I'm just going to pop them 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pop them there. And then you could, even if you wanted to, you could pop some little rhinestones or something in the centre of them, just to give them a little bit of oomph. I think the pearls might be a little bit too big, but I think rhinestones would be quite nice. There we are. I've left that ribbon a little bit long You may want to trim your ribbon because it's actually, you can see there, it's actually a bit long and it's going over I might slip it under there. Okay, so there is your centre easel card for your customer bonus gift this month. So that, no, well, next month, the month of February. So as I say, you'll get your kit as a little thank you from me for purchasing from me during the month of February. So it'll be towards the end of February that I send those out. It doesn't take long to put together, and as I say, I'm going to put the measurements on the on this video, on the end of this video, so you can make one for yourself after. But anyway, there you go. So all my customers who get this, thanks so much for purchasing from me during February and any month. Appreciate any orders that I get through, and hopefully you will enjoy popping this one together as a little bit of a bonus. Anyway, as I say, this Hydrangea Hill Sweet collection is just blowing me away. I can't stop picking it up to play with it. So if you've got if you want to take any recommendation from me, this one should definitely be on your wish list. So thanks very much for popping on. Have a great Friday and a great weekend, and I will catch you all next Wednesday for my next quick card challenge, my next 15-minute card that will go live on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. So I think I've got a really nice card for you then as well. So thanks very much, and I will talk to you all later.